Definitely. Is there any life lessons that you want to pass on to others that you have so far?
Man, I would say, do what your heart dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you hear people, you hear the kids say YOLO. You only
Yeah,
live
yeah,
once. Most of the time, people say YOLO when it comes down to doing something stupid.
yeah.
But I will say YOLO for doing something your heart dreams for. Like, you only live this life one time,
Yeah.
and allowing fear, insecurity, inadequacy, doubt
Mm-hmm.
to govern your life and keep you from the thing that God intended you to do.
Yep.
It's nothing worse than being 90 years old and looking back and saying, coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, live now,
Yeah.
live today, live every day like it's your last, and accomplish what your heart's dream is. The sky is the limit.
That's what's up, man. So if we talk about reflection, can you reflect on any mistakes or challenges that may have taught you something valuable about yourself?
Mistakes, man. I made many mistakes in my life. I would say one of the things that one of the mistakes that I think I've made growing up, and I'm learning even
Mm-hmm.
still now, is to not think you know about something you've never lived in.
Yeah.
Don't judge something you've never. Don't judge a chair you never sat in.
Sure, indeed.
As a pastor now,
Mm-hmm.
I go back and I look at my pastor when I
Yeah.
was assistant pastor and I was there serving, and I had all these. You should do this, you should do that. Have you ever thought about this? Have you ever thought about that? And didn't really understand why I wasn't being heard.
Yeah.
And instead of me, I was so consumed on not being heard that I wasn't hearing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, oh, now that I'm a senior pastor, I know what it's like to be a senior pastor.
Mm-hmm.
I know why it is he didn't do what I wanted him to do before. I didn't understand because
Yeah.
I wasn't sitting there. Just like civilians will judge a police officer even though they've never sat in that seat before.
Yep.
So really taking the humble approach of getting to putting yourself into somebody else's shoes,
Mm-hmm.
or even being invited into that space,
Yep.
so that you can learn what that place is. So I've been learning to be more aware and more humble in the approach of, like, you don't know a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And the more that I know, the more I realize I don't know.
Yeah.
And so there's always something to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's probably one of the mistakes I've made. I'm a very passionate person
Mm-hmm.
naturally. So sometimes if I feel something, I can be very passionate about it.
Yeah.
I'm learning to steward my passion better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that it can be added to with wisdom. But I made a lot of mistakes, man. Just in my passion, I made a lot of mistakes. And man, probably one of the biggest mistakes I've made is doing what I think I'm capable of.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is, I know I'm more capable than I think.
Yeah.
And just submitting to the low.
Yeah. Yeah.
Minimizing myself.
Mm-hmm.
Having a dream but only doing the mediocre.
Yeah.
Those are probably the mistakes that I've made in my life. Being content with the mediocrity. Being content with, I don't know. God has so much more, and without Him, I can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do anything without Him, and there's a lot in life I try to do without Him.
Yeah.
And I failed over and over and over again. And so the more I invite Him into the things He wants me to do already, I can't do without Him, the more I see happen. So really just inviting Him into more.